bilingual, bicultural, able to slip from "How's life?" to "Me están volviendo loca," able to sit in a paneled office, drafting memos in smooth English, able to order in fluent Spanish at a Mexican restaurant, American, but hyphenated, viewed by Anglos as perhaps exotic, perhaps inferior, definitely different, viewed by Mexicans as alien. Their eyes say, "You may speak Spanish, but you're not like me." An American to Mexicans, a Mexican to Americans, a handy token sliding back and forth between the fringes of both worlds by smiling, by masking the discomfort of being prejudged bilaterally. No longer mourn for me when I am dead, then you shall hear the surly sullen bell give warning to the world that I am fled from this vile world of vilest worms to dwell. Nay, if you read this line, remember not the hand that writ it, for I love you so that I in your sweet thoughts would be forgot, if thinking on me then should make you woe. Oh, if I say, you look upon this verse when I perhaps compounded them with clay, do not so much as my poor name rehearse, but let your love even with my life decay, lest the wise world should look into your moan and mock you with me after I am gone. What happens to a dream deferred? Does it dry up like a raisin in the sun? Or fester like a sore and then run? Does it stink like rotten meat, or crust and sugar over like a syrupy sweet? Maybe it just sags like a heavy load. Or does it explode? The buzzsaw snarled and rattled in the yard. It made dust and dropped stove-length sticks of wood, sweet-scented stuff when the breeze drew across it. And from there those that lifted eyes could count 5 mountain ranges, one behind the other, under the sunset far into Vermont. And the saw snarled and rattled, as it ran light or had to bear a load. And nothing happened. Day was all but done. Call it a day, I wish they might have said, to please the boy by giving him the half hour. That a boy counts so much when saved from work. His sister stood beside him in her apron to tell him supper. At the word the saw, as if to prove Saws knew what supper meant, leaped out at the boy's hand, or seemed to leap. He must have given the hand, however it was. Neither refused the meeting, but the hand. The boy's first outcry was a rueful laugh, as he swung toward them holding up the hand, half in appeal, but half as if to keep the life from spilling. Then the boy saw all. Since he was old enough to know, big boy, doing a man's work, though a child at heart, he saw all spoiled. Don't let him cut my hand off. The doctor, when he comes, don't let him, sister. So, but the hand was gone already. The doctor put him in the dark of ether. He lay and puffed his lips out with his breath, and then the watcher at his pulse took fright. No one believed. They listened at his heart. Little, less, nothing. And that ended it. No more to build on here. And they, since they were not the one dead, turned to their affairs. Whose woods these are I think I know. His house is in the village, though. He will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. A little horse must think it queer to stop without a farmhouse near, between the woods and frozen lake, the darkest evening of the year. He gives his harness bells a shake to ask if there is some mistake. The only other sounds the sweep of easy wind and downy flake. The woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. On a night quite unenchanting, when the rain was downward slanting, I awakened to the ranting of the man I catch mice for. Tipsy and a bit unshaven, in a tone I found quite craven, Poe was talking to a raven perched above the chamber door. Raven's very tasty, I thought, as I tiptoed over the floor. There is nothing I like more. Soft upon the rug I treaded, calm and careful as I headed toward his roost atop that dreaded bust of Pallas I deplore. While the bard and birdie chattered, I made sure that nothing clattered, creaked or snapped or fell or shattered as I crossed the corridor. For his house is crammed with trinkets, curios and weird decor, bric-a-brac and junk galore. Still the raven never fluttered, standing shocked still as he uttered, in a voice that shrieked and sputtered his 2 cents worth, "Nevermore." While this dirge the bird brain kept up, oh so silently I crept up. Then I crouched and quickly leapt up, pouncing on the feathered boar. Soon he was a heap of plumage and a little blood and gore, only this, and not much more. Then my pickled poet cried out, "Pussy cat, it's time I dried out. Never sat I in my hideout talking to a bird before." How I wallowed in self-pity while my gallant, valiant kitty put an end to that damned ditty. Then I heard him start to snore. Back atop the door I clambered. That statue I abhor. Jumped and smashed it on the floor. If you'd have told me a week and a half ago that I'd be sleeping with a bottle of Tums under my pillow, I'd have told you were nuts. But a lot can happen in a week and a half, and I really, really hope that in the next week and a half, a whole lot more will happen.